So you're thinking of moving to Hutto, Texas. In this video, I am actually going to dive into the pros and the cons of living in Hutto, Texas. And I actually live here, so you're definitely going to want to stick around for this because I can definitely tell you the pros and the cons of living in Hutto, Texas. So stick around. Also, I might share with you a little bit of some fun, best kept secrets about the area and its growth. So if you want to find out, stick around to the end, and we're getting after it right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything that there is to know about moving to the Austin, Texas area, then subscribe below and tap the bell so you can get notifications about the current market updates in the Austin, Texas area. My name is Leanna Borsellino and I am with Haven Homes. I get calls and emails every single day from people just like you looking to make the move to the Austin, Texas area. And I absolutely love it. So give me a call, shoot me a text, write me an email, or better yet, let's get on a Zoom call so we can make sure that you make a smooth move to the Austin, Texas area. All the information is below, so make sure to look there so you know how to contact me. And yeah, I am looking forward to showing you around Hutto today. Today is going to be a pros and cons video. I actually currently live in Hutto, Texas. I've lived here since 2016, and I have no plans to leave anytime soon. As a matter of fact, I'm planning on purchasing more real estate in Hutto because I just think this is a really great area, personally. So you can already put that on the pros list if you want to. But anyway, I am born and raised from the Austin, Texas area. I was born in Austin, raised in Round Rock, which is just west of Hutto. And then I moved here to raise my kids back in 2016. As a child, I thought that Hutto was out in the boonies in the middle of nowhere, and I never in a million years could have fathomed I'd be living in Hutto, Texas. But I do. And not only do I live here, I love living here, and I'm encouraging people to move here because I just think that this is an amazing place to live and an amazing place to raise your kids. So stick with me, and we're getting after it right now. Okay, so let's talk about some of the pros of living in Hutto, Texas. Number one pro that I think is definitely worth mentioning is that there is very affordable housing. And when I say affordable housing, I mean you can actually still find some houses in this area that are decent homes, starter homes, but beautiful homes that are still in the 200,000 range. Can't find a lot of that in the Austin area right now, but here in Hutto, there still are plenty of homes that are in the 200 to 300,000 range, and we can get you, basically placed into one of these homes, and you can start, building your equity and investing in yourself. So Hutto is a great place for that currently. It's very affordable to live still. I will say probably not for much longer, but we're going to talk about that on the cons list in a little bit. But right now, what is important to say that is the housing here is still very affordable. Number two is the community atmosphere. Now, what I will say is when I first moved to Hutto, I didn't really experience too much of the community, but now that I have young kids, I actually have a son that is 6 and a daughter that is 8, and they're involved in a lot of extracurricular activities. My son plays t-ball, my daughter was in softball, my son is in flag football, and my daughter also does cheer here, and I am just impressed by the community here. I mean, they go all out. The mayor of our town was at the opening ceremonies for the t-ball and softball league here in Hutto. I mean, that's not very common in other places, but he was here. Also, Southside Barbecue is at the concession stand at the t-ball games and the softball games and the baseball games, which is at the Hutto Elementary School. And they serve really good barbecue at these games. And so you don't think that you're going to get like a delicious meal while going to hang out cheering on your young children. But lo and behold, we have great barbecue at these baseball games. So I love that. There's also market days down in the Hutto Square area in downtown Hutto. So the Hutto Market Days are every third Saturday of the month. I love going to the Hutto Market Days. I think there's a pretty good selection, lots of fun. Normally there's like some bouncy houses or face painting for the kids. There's also this really yummy frozen daiquiri shop down on downtown, and they make all sorts of fun drinks. So you can just kind of like walk around and drink your little frozen frosé drink, and it's a good time. So I really love Hutto. The community here is amazing. Everyone is so friendly. So if you're looking for kind of like that small town feel, but just on the edge of a very large town, a very large city, Hutto is a great place to be. Because like I said, you still get that small town feel, but you're, right next to the toll. You're right by 130. So you're really not that far. You're just a hop, skip, and a jump away from being downtown and near the airport. So holla at point number 2 pro. Number 3, they have really great schools here. I had my daughter when she was in kindergarten. She was in a private school because I was a little bit nervous about the curriculums and I wasn't really sure what to think about the public schools. I know that the Round Rock ISD is really great, but I wasn't very familiar with Hutto. Well, I ended up putting my kids into the Hutto ISD, and lo and behold, I love it. My kids have the most amazing teachers that are very much invested in my kids' lives. My daughter is excited to go to school every single day. Like, she cannot wait. The teachers really, really, really take their time to get to know the kids. They reach out, they're communicative. I almost never have my kids coming home sick anymore, which is just very shocking for me this past year. Like, I don't have sick kids. I don't know what's going on, but man, Hutto has been pretty great for me. So I originally was thinking of putting my kids back into private school, and honestly, I have no reason to. Like, I don't want to. And a huge reason why I don't want to move away from Hutto and I want to stay here is because I want to stay close to the schools here, because these schools are awesome. Also, something that's kind of funny is we do have the mascot that's the hippo in Hutto, which I'll get into that a little bit later. But I find it hilarious because all of the schools here all have the exact same mascot. We all support the hippo. My kids go to a different elementary school other than like the Hutto Elementary School, but they both have a hippo as a mascot. So it's hippo, 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 a hip, 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 hippo. And you're going to see hippos everywhere. There are over 4,000 hippos in Hutto, and for good reason. And I'll get into that little story here in a minute as well. So, but yeah, I think that's a really great point. And a lot of parents especially would want to know that their kids are going to good schools and they're safe schools. And I can tell you firsthand that I love the schools here and I think they're amazing. And I don't want to leave Hutto because I like the school system here so much. Okay. Pro number 4 is that it's pretty safe to live here. There is a low crime rate and safe environment. So since I've lived in Hutto, I really haven't heard of anything too outrageous happening in the area. I mean, I've lived in neighboring cities and there's been all sorts of dangerous activity just right out the door. So I feel like Hutto's a little bit more secluded, so there's not quite as much dangerous activity. So again, like I said, this is like a really good family place. Hutto is just a really great overall area to raise a family. Another pro that I have is actually that how conveniently located Hutto is. So Hutto is actually northeast of Austin and it runs right along the 130 toll. And we're just above where 130 and 45 meet, which 45 is another toll road. So if you hop onto 130 toll, it takes you 20 to 30 minutes to get to Austin Airport, and you can bypass all of the major traffic. So I kind of feel like when you live in Hutto, it just takes 30 minutes to get everywhere. I mean, unless you're going to like Pflugerville or Round Rock, but anywhere you want to go, it's about 30 minutes because you got that toll road. So a lot of people will say that Austin is very congested with traffic. That is true unless you live in Hutto. So Hutto, you just hop right, like I said, you hop right on that toll road, and they're actually expanding it right now. So if you go a little bit further east of Hutto, there's Taylor, and Taylor is where they're building the Samsung factory. They're actually expanding the toll out to Taylor right on that line where Hutto and Taylor meet, and you can actually see them building it right now. So Hutto is going to be exploding very soon. We have the Co-op District, which they've announced is kind of like a mini domain. It's a shopping center. They're going to be putting in a lot of condos there and apartment buildings, kind of overseeing this outdoor shopping mall area. So, and right now it's really fun and beautiful. There's Top Notch Burgers, which is famous in Austin from the movie Dazed and Confused with Matthew McConaughey back in the day, if you know what I'm talking about. But we have the second location of Top Notch. We're about to get a Jack Allen's restaurant. There was just announced that Chewy's is coming here. So there's all these great restaurants that are coming to the Hutto area. All of them are coming to the Co-op District. If nobody knows what the Domain is, because if you're not from the Austin area, the Domain is this massive outdoor shopping mall with a lot of, it's expensive shopping for sure, but they've got some great boutiques and bars and restaurants and just all sorts of wonderful things that you can do. And we're bringing that to Hutto. Even downtown Hutto right now is just really cute. There's a lot of those older buildings that are back, from the 1800s. And so it still has a lot of the quality of what Hutto originally was. The train went through Hutto and connects to Round Rock, Pflugerville, Cedar Park, so you can kind of see that old train system there. As a matter of fact, legend has it that on this train back in the 1800s, there was a circus coming through town, and a hippo escaped from the circus, and it was running the streets of Hutto. And so when they finally captured it, right, thus the hippo mascot was born. It was all like nothing happened in this small town. If you can imagine, you think Hutto's a small town now. Imagine back in the 1800s how small it was, right? All we got was a train going through it. And you have Brushy Creek as well. So a little bit of like the Chisholm Trail and Brushy Creek and all that kind of connects here. But we do have the Brushy Creek coming through. And so it's kind of the creek and the train station. And then we have a hippo. And so it made the news. It was, printing press. Made the news with the printing press. And yeah, ever since then, we've kind of had this town as kind of viewed the hippo as the talisman, kind of good luck. So every time you see a hippo, make sure you go up to it and rub it on its head for some good luck. Because who doesn't love a town that has good luck everywhere? There's over 4,000 hippos in Hutto. So lots of places you can go get some good luck rubbed off on you, right? You know what I'm saying? A little bit of hippo here, a little bit of hippo there. And anyway, that is definitely a pro, because not every town has a talisman, but Hutto does. So holla! That's right. I have one more pro that I want to touch on, and that is job opportunities. So like I said, Samsung is building a multi-billion-dollar warehouse just down yonder at our neighbors in Taylor. And Taylor's a little bit further out, so people are being moved here. I mean, when I say that this place is massive, I mean it's bigger than the Tesla factory, which, by the way, is also down the 130 toll. So you can drive for 30 minutes, you can hit Tesla, or you can go out west and hit Samsung. And Samsung is bigger than Tesla. It is massive and huge. And the houses so far have not reflected, the price of them have not reflected having Samsung here. Samsung is supposed to open sometime at the end of 2024. So in about a year from now, it should be operating, which means there's going to be a flux of people moving here, which means that the prices of the homes, the equity is going to start shooting up. So guess what? Lots of job opportunities for you here. So you can be working close to here. You're not going to have a very long commute. But what that also means is that you can get into a house right now and get a very affordable price. There are still houses here that should be in the multi-million-dollar range, and they are still below $1 million. Why is that? Because we're in Hutto or Taylor, which is next door. I'll talk about that later though. But because we're in Hutto, you can buy a house that should easily be several $1 million. We're talking several acres, big massive lots, nice houses, and you can still afford to live there. You could go buy a $700,000 home right now on several acres of property and live like a king and not even spend $1 million on it. I mean, there's really not a lot of other places you can go do that right now. So that is a huge pro for living in Hutto. And also why I plan on investing in more real estate here in the very near future. And I think that if you are interested in doing that, you should also. So call me, because I've been keeping a very close eye on the market out here, because I know exactly what areas I want to invest in, and I can help you in that search. So again, holler at me. So give me a phone call, shoot me a text, write me an email, or better yet, let's get on that Zoom call so we can start that smooth move to the Hutto, Texas area. And like I said, I do live here, so I like to think that I am an area expert. I love it. I've been living in Hutto since 2016, but I was born and raised in Austin and grew up in the Round Rock area. So I have a lot of experience. I've seen a lot of growth in the area, and I can just kind of I can show you where all the best places to go are. And I also think I'm a fun person to hang out with. So if you want to go for a car ride and go look at houses one day, alert me. Okay. Okay, well, I couldn't give you a list of pros without giving you also a list of cons. So here are some of the cons. We have limited entertainment options here. There are a few. For instance, the park at Brushy Creek has its own amphitheater, and that is, they have some major names coming there. As a matter of fact, one day I could hear Snoop Dogg performing, and I think Mod Mouse was there. So they got some pretty big performers that come to Hutto and perform. However, there's just not a plethora of opportunities. So we do have that. We'll be getting more entertainment opportunities. Like I said, the co-op district is being built. It's coming, but it's not quite here yet. So if you want to go have a good time, you might still want to like hop on 79 or 130 and drive into maybe downtown Round Rock or go to the Domain, which is in North Austin. So that is probably one of the cons of living in Hutto. Another con of living in Hutto is traffic congestion. I know I said that a pro is that you can hop on the toll roads, and that is absolutely true. However, there is a train that goes right by, like basically right down 79. And that train sometimes is crossing right in front of Chris Kelly Boulevard, where you need to cross over to get to anything you want to go to in Hutto. And sometimes those trains take forever, or they stop, or because they're doing a lot of construction, they actually shut down the road one day. So everyone had to make alternate routes. My daughter's cheer, she had cheer that day. They just canceled cheer practice because there was literally no way to get across the tracks. So she drove all the way up and came all the way around. And I mean, you can do that, but who wants to do that? So I would definitely say that's one of the cons because of all the construction that's going on. They need to figure out a way to make that specific intersection at 79 and Chris Kelly a little bit more manageable so people can get over it and not miss appointments that they basically have no reason to miss. But you get stuck at that darn train. So that I would say is definitely a con. So if you can't afford to have a train mess up your daily route, then I might say you might want to live in an area that's not quite as dependent as being able to cross over the 79 and Chris Kelly intersection. So, but again, it's not that big of a deal. I think I've gotten stuck with a train once in the last 6 weeks, and then the other day it was canceled, but I was notified ahead of time, so I just knew to avoid that area altogether. And my neighborhood's pretty good about letting us know and informing us when there's going to be major construction. So. Also, another con is that we have limited transportation. So if you're wanting to ride on the metro or bus, there's not a lot of bus stops around here. So I wouldn't recommend moving here if you don't have reliable transportation. Unfortunately, that is just a con of the area. I mean, Uber does come out here, so you can do Uber or Lyft. It's not banned, so you can still have opportunities for transportation. Just don't expect to ride on the metro. Like I said, we do have a train that comes through here, but it's an industrial train, and it's for construction and building and all that kind of stuff. It's not a passenger train, so you know. But yeah, that is definitely a con. Another con that we have is we live in Texas, and Texas has extreme weather sometimes. When I say extreme weather, I mean like tornadoes and hailstorms. Personally, I keep praying for a hailstorm because I would really love to get my roof replaced. So every time I hear that there's a big rainstorm coming through, I'm like, oh God, please, 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 please let it hit my house. I want it to hit my house. And it keeps missing my house. So, you know. But anyway, I will say though, Texas storms, if you haven't experienced a Texas rainstorm, it's not like your normal average everyday rainstorm. When they say everything is bigger in Texas, that includes our raindrops. So I actually moved away from Texas for about 5 years and lived in California. And I remember we had some rain. I used to get excited when it would rain because I'm like, oh, now my car is going to get washed. My car never got washed in California. When it rains in Texas, I get a free car wash every single time. It rains and my vehicle is shiny, clean, and brand new looking. And that is because rain here, the raindrops are just thick and big. And there ain't nothing like a summer rainstorm. You go out and you dance in that rain and it is just awesome. Those are some of my favorite childhood memories, is playing in the rain. So that again, but this is a con. So the con is that there's tornadoes. Now, like I said, I've lived here pretty much my entire life. I was born and raised here, and I live here now. In the past, since I've lived in Hutto, only 1 year did we have a tornado so far. And it didn't come to my neighborhood, but it, it's about a mile from me. And it caused a decent amount of damage, actually. It hit Kalahari, which is just down the road. It was actually in Round Rock. It didn't quite make it to Hutto, but it was right on that border. So... and that was kind of terrifying, especially for my children. But again, you might find some tornadoes. Other than that, the only real tornado that I remember was when I was a kid. I believe it was in 1997. We had an F5 tornado that came through Gerald, and it was kind of close. And I think it hit in like the Cedar Park area. But really, that's about it. So I wouldn't be too scared of tornadoes. They do happen. I mean, it's Texas, and we got some flat land, so it's like the perfect environment for it. If you are too concerned about tornadoes, then we do have the hill country, and I can take you there too. However, some houses I've noticed in Hutto have cellars, which is pretty uncommon to have basements here in Texas because of the limestone in our soil. But some people do invest in it in Hutto, so you might find a house. We can find you a house that has a cellar in it, so you can feel a little bit safer just in case a tornado comes through. And just always get homeowners insurance. I mean, no brainer, right? Recently, it's gotten really, really cold here. Growing up, I think I saw snow like twice my whole childhood, and it would mostly ice over. I would say wouldn't really worry about the snow. I feel like that's an anomaly, and that kind of stuff doesn't really happen. But what I will say is that the ice here is very dangerous, and our roads are not made. Like, we just don't, I guess the city just doesn't invest in equipment to take care of the roads if it does ice over. So it's just very dangerous, especially black ice. So if you know how to drive in colder conditions, I would still say, yeah, but maybe if there's ice and you don't know, it is just very dangerous. And a lot of people move here and they don't realize that our roads are just not equipped for it. AKA your car is not equipped for it. AKA it doesn't matter how good of a driver you are, you're probably not equipped for it. So, and don't take that as a challenge. That is what I consider dangerous, is icing in Texas. And icing is pretty common, and that normally happens around February timeframe. Beyond that, another con that people will talk about is the heat here. I personally love the Texas heat. You can give me 100+ degree weather every single day for the rest of my life, and I will be a happy girl. Not everybody likes that. So what I will say is, yeah, we have sometimes the record-breaking heat. I remember one summer when I was a kid, it was over 100 for 60 straight days. And it was the best summer of my life. I think I went to a different swimming hole almost every single day, or was in the pool. I mean, I was just living it up. So 100+ degree weather is a kid's dream if you have the proper facilities to keep you cool. I still like to take my kids to the water parks, so we spend a lot of time in the water over the summer. So I think summers are awesome. I just very much enjoy the heat because we can go play in the water. You can go tubing on the river. Typhoon Texas isn't far from here. I normally get the season passes, so I take my kids to Typhoon Texas multiple times a week. Then you got the community centers and the neighborhood pools, splash pads galore all over Texas. Some really cool splash pads that are public and free. So there's just a lot of opportunities to stay cool. But again, if you're not used to the heat here, it might come a little bit of a shock to some people. But you get used to it, I would say, by year 2, and then it's good. For me, Texas gets about as cold as I can handle, and I need it as hot as it stays here or warmer. So the only place you'll ever catch me moving if I live in Texas is further south. So I love the heat. The heat is all for me. Not everybody loves the heat. Again, so that might be a con for you. And if it is, I'm sorry about you. And if you're being forced to move here because of work, again, sorry about you, but at least I can tell you where to go to try to stay cool, right? So cool. The final con that I would probably mention is the growing pains. We are in what is considered a smaller town, so it has that small town feel, but we're going through a lot of growing pains. Like I said, the congestion on 79 and Chris Kelly Boulevard, with the train. Like, we just need to expand the roads, make better roads here to make way for all of the people that are moving here. And so that becomes frustrating, especially at that intersection. I'm just gonna keep focusing on the intersection because it's annoying. And I know it'll get fixed, but right now it's not, so it's something you gotta deal with. But because of that, there's just a lot of people that are moving to the Hutto area. I will say that the rent in this area is a little bit higher than other areas because, like I said, a lot of people are moving here. They're not quite ready to purchase. They'd rather rent and kind of get to know the area better and figure out where they want to live. Well, if you just want to start investing in yourself right away and you don't want to worry about basically paying someone else's mortgage, then call me, right? Shoot me a text, send me an email, or get on a Zoom call with me because I do know the area and I can show you where to move and you can feel really good about that. So anyway, it's been a lot of fun showing you around today and talking about the pros and cons of Hutto Texas. Okay, well, I've had a lot of fun talking to you about the pros and cons of living in Hutto, Texas. Again, my name is Leanna Borsellino, and I am with Haven Homes. If you think you'd like to make the move to Hutto, Texas, make sure that you give me a call, shoot me a text, write me an email, or let's get on a Zoom call, and all of that information is right down below so you know how to contact me, and I can help you make that smooth move to Texas. Again, I've had so much fun. Please do not forget to subscribe and click that bell because even if you're not looking to move now, you might be wanting to move a year from now. And we can begin that search for you right away. So I could even, set up a search and just kind of keep an eye on the area that you're interested in. So, I mean, who doesn't love to do preliminary research? No? Just me? Okay, kidding. Anyway, like I said, I have had so much fun. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I've had a lot of fun. I love Hutto. Go Hippos. And yeah, come be my neighbor.